Welcome back to Ferocious Education. This is Zed. Today I'm going to be talking about KTOV and updates. I haven't talked about this one in a while and would love to give my update on it as per requested. Make sure you drop a like on this video to help this channel grow. Subscribe to the channel, leave your notifications on to receive the latest out of news when I come out with it. And share this video at the end if you like it. I'm going to be going through technical analysis and I'm going to go through a bunch of news, including in things I've digged back all the way in January that we're supposed to be hearing about recently. And I'm going to also mention how I would play this stock as well, just from this moment on. So going on, we get to see in the 1 month, 1 day, the MACD has been quite negative, and it's been actually a little bit stable at this point, somewhere very closer to the same range on the 10th. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. So I expect in 4 trading days, this MACD to somehow actually end up reversing back to positive, and that could be actually a good sign for a breakout. So definitely consider this one. It looks like it has amazing potential, and it's going to be testing the MACD towards positive sometime next week based on this indication alone. The average directional index shows perhaps a strong trend that might be forming here, although it's been trading a little bit sloppy for quite a few days, so that's a little bit to ignore. The willing percent R is showing it's a little bit overbought. Neutral, very close to the overbought situation, and momentum seems to actually be building up. The stock price is still above the 50 SMA and the 200 SMA, which is good news. Now, we need to look into the 1 hour intervals a little bit more just because it's been trading a little bit sloppy and some of the indications are a little bit off. So, moving on here, you get to see the average directional index went from 875, which is basically no trend whatsoever, going into around 27, which is a strong indication for a start of a trend, which is amazing. Now, the MACD here on the 1 day interval has gone a little bit up and down, but it looks like it might actually be turning a little bit negative. Or you might have something very similar to this here, where it stays negative for just quite a little, not very much affecting the stock. But what it really looks at here is that the stock did jump above the 50 SMA and the 200 SMA, and the 50 SMA and the 200 SMA are actually touching in very close, forming in a golden star. So, sorry, golden cross. So that is as well a bullish sign. The stock price being above that is a bullish sign. The 10 SMA is now above the 30 SMA, bullish sign. And the stock is sitting in somewhere in the trading action zone where reversals are likely in the positive direction, as well, a bullish sign. Now, the bearish things here that we're looking at is just the MACD on the 1 hour interval. Although remember, the 1 day interval for the MACD shows a bullish sign for next week. Moving on towards momentum, not a lot happening here. It seems just to be up and down. Let's move on towards the moving averages. So this is just the wrong stock here. Okay, quickly. We get to see that the moving average band has been up and down. Now, it is trading within the moving average band. So what I expect is that moving average band Insean to kind of stabilize. Not a lot of things telling it that it's showing right now. So that's definitely to be ignored. Going on towards where the stock is looking like, and it seems to have been trading sideways for a little, and it's more of an accumulation period from what I can see. Now, the current support that it's sitting at seems to be somewhere around 0.78, and then there's another one around 0.8. It seems to be a nice support that it's flirting up and down with, so it's currently still sitting on there. The next resistance seems to be somewhere around 0.82. Actually, there is 0.81 here, and over here, around 0.81 to 0.82, so I'll say 815 to 82. And then the Fibonacci retracements resistance is sitting in at 0.86 and seems to have actually played nicely before. Following that, we get to see probably around 0.87 here, just just a quick moment. So very less significance. 0.88 is another one here sitting. And then we're looking somewhere perhaps 0.91 a few times over, 0.95 and Fibonacci resistance tested a few times, and then you're hitting in the $1 mark. So there is a good upside for this, and it seems to have actually been playing a little bit in the bottom for quite a little. Now going on towards looking perhaps into the 1 month, or sorry, 3 months, 1 day to try to identify any kind of trends, and it just looks like it's very much an accumulation period, and it does remind me before for some stocks that have seen a massive jump and it's had an accumulation for a little before it jumped back. Now I'll try to draw a trend line here just ever so slightly, and it's still within the trend line here that it's formed, so that's still good news. It does seem that it's actually been flirting with a little bit of multiple bottom before, but it looks that it might be a nice play later on. Of course, given everything into perspective, just don't take one part of the video. Moving on now, in terms of events, I don't see anything coming in closely. Pipeline, they do have basically two things they're working on: the CM24 and the NT219. So that's the head and neck cancer, and this is the non-small cell lung cancer. This product has been launched in Q1 2020, so there might be some revenue there coming in. So fixed dose of combination of celecoxib, and I'm not going to attempt to read the rest, but it seems to have actually been launched in H1 2020 by Kitov's partner. So that's good news. There might be actually some earnings coming in from there, and that's the exact same slide we were looking at. Now, moving on forward, they're anticipating 28 million to 36 million in revenues expected in 2020, 2022. Their financials currently, they're sitting in 29 million cash as of January 1st, 2020. So there's not an update on this that I have currently. They're sitting in around 13 million shares in 3 months average trading volume. Volume has dipped quite a little, but still holding very close to there, and market cap is around 50 million. Now, this is their most up-to-date presentation that we're looking at. I'm not going to go through technical information there, except for one of them where they have a slide somewhere around here. You get to see that there seems to have been putting a lot of this. I'm not sure if it's just a placement there, or they're kind of flirting with the idea that the Q3, Q4, there's going to be a lot of impact there and some PR coming in around for CM24 phase 1 over 2 study design. And then going forward, there's another one here that had a bit of a similar information hitting on. So that's the NT219. This one is really closer to the Q2 more than the other one, and I think they've actually, since they've moved this one a little bit to the left than the other one here, I'm expecting something to come in out of Q3 2020 for the dose escalation for N219 and an update on that. So that's definitely a positive PR that will be coming in out of there. Now, before going on to the next slide, they do have as well some operations as well in US, China, and South Korea, so that's a big market going there. So they have their IND amendment clearance for CM24 coming in Q3 2020, and then following that, the CM24 initiation of phase 1 over 2 clinical study collaboration. So you can see that there's quite a good PR coming around there. I haven't double checked for N219 and initiation phase study. I think I have it on one of these phases here, one of these tabs. Yep, and that basically sums it up for the presentation. Some latest transactions happening in. It seems there's been some buy-ins coming in around 17,000 or 18,000 shares, 27th, 30th, 24th, all in the month of July. I'm not sure how many Rely Finance had in terms of shares, but still Morgan Stanley is holding around 560,000 shares of 0.54 per share, and it doesn't seem that they've actually sold anything. At least it's not what it shows. So it looks like institution really loves the stock. Now, moving forward in terms of this here, you get to see this one here is a notice of intention for grant of European patent covering for CM24, and this one was released on for the month of July, happened on 8th of July, so it's a little bit early on. My previous DD is in the comment description if you'd like to check it out, but just basically updating from that point on. So that was good news coming in. That was already played before. What we're looking at is as well announces initiation of clinical C1 clinical trial for N219, and that's what I mentioned in the presentation, and it seems that it's actually done. That's on the 9th of July. Now, this one was a filing. I believe this was a shelf filings for stocks, and basically from what I get from it is in the future they could have an offering sometime in the late head future. Now, I don't see much details on this, but I think it's actually been played a little bit around. Now, what this actually tells me is their proposed maximum offering price is 0.80 for an offering in the future, although I don't think that we'll see an offering anyway coming in ahead of time. And I believe their shelf was actually very small compared to what they had before. You need to do a little bit more digging on that, but this is coming in around, I believe, all the way back in 10th of July. So this has been played through. Don't get scared there. Now, the positive PR coming in is their intent of initiation of phase 1B over 2A clinical trials of CM24. That has played through, but then Nivolamb in collaboration with Bristol Myers Squibb in the second half of 2020. I haven't seen a PR coming in on that, so I do expect a PR coming in on it. If you find that PR, please mention it in the comments below to share it for others. But there is a bit of PR that can come out of this January 8th filing. So this is quite a bit back, and basically this one here, they've acquired 100% of FameWave from its shareholders in exchange for 10 million. So that was an acquisition happening, and with the news coming in around, they said collaboration in the second half of 2020. So it says with manufacturing antibody cell underway and having collaborated with Bristol Myers Squibb for the phase 1 half protocol, or 1/2 protocol. I look forward to anticipated initiation of this study in the second half of 2020. So that's good news coming in. So what would I do for the stock and how would I play it? That's very important. I definitely want to see if it holds that trend line. I definitely would like to have an entry of 0.75 if I get to see that again. It did flirt with it a few times in the last 2 days, but it looks like an accumulation phase, and that is a good sign for a stock. It's definitely a swing play. It's not a hype play at the current moment, although it had hype, but I do expect it to hit forward and jump back forward later on. Thank you very much. That's been my DD. What do you think about this ticker? Make sure you mention it in the comments below. Share, subscribe, and like, and you have a wonderful day.